What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Queer Collective Podcast. My name is Karbon.
And I'm Emily. But you could also just call me a bangs girl. Because guess who got bangs?
Is it Emily?
I got bangs.
It's you?
We're making moves out here.
Something's different about you.
Ooh.
I can't quite put a finger on it.
Little hairs across my forehead.
Moving on. Today we are going to be talking about why people announce when they're coming out. And on the flip side of that, why a lot of people say, who cares? So before we get into the video, I want you to do a little this. And smash that like button.
You did not just do that. I'm impressed that you remembered to do it, though. We never tell people to like our videos. Please like the video and support queer content.
So first and foremost, let's start out with the facts, right? Okay. So most people that I've come in contact with, that I've encountered, whether in real life or on the internet, majority of them have announced that they're queer, gay, bi, lesbian, whatever.
By announce, is that like just in front of one person, or does that entail you're like posting it on social media?
Good question. When I say announce, I just mean like coming out, whether it be in person, like to friends, to family, to coworkers in real life, or a lot of the time what I see if they have more of like a platform, like they're an influencer or they're some sort of, I don't know, they have a bit of clout or popularity or fame. Usually they like announce it on social media. I feel like majority of us can draw examples, and as soon as I say that, you're like, oh yeah, this person. Now on the other side of that, we have a lot of people that will say either I don't care, we don't care, who cares, like just do your job. Nobody cares if you're queer or not. And so we're going to be talking a little bit about why people say that, what it means, and
how it feels,
and if it's bad or not as well. When people say like, who cares? I think it's important to identify the context behind it. So there's two different types of who cares. Yeah. So the first type is more so, I don't care that you're gay, queer, bi, whatever it may be. I don't care that you're queer. I love you for who you are. Everything's the same. Like my love for you doesn't change, and you're the same person as before. There's the other who cares, which is nobody cares. Like just do your job, or just, you know, play your sport. Like you're an athlete. Like don't talk about politics or sexuality or this and that. Just like do the thing that you were hired to do. And usually those kinds of comments come more from like hate and, you know, negativity and people homophobia and people wanting to offend others, right?
I personally really like, it triggers me in anger when people say just stick to your job, stick to what you're good at. Oh yeah, like just keep bouncing a ball or something, or whatever people say. I hate that, because that just suggests that people are just so one-faceted. Like only have one thing. You can only be
one thing. Yeah, like you're a basketball player, like just be a basketball player.
Especially because it usually comes from like these news anchor commenters, and it's like, who are you?
Yeah,
you know
exactly,
what I mean?
right?
Who are you to be talking about it?
Just because like you have a mic and the other person has a ball, that makes you like more interesting and important.
Yeah, just as like a human being, you're inherently political, and like you have opinions, of course, and you're allowed to voice them. Like, I hate that.
Like a basketball, like, or just like a sports whatnot player, or I see that a lot also with like celebrities.
Yeah,
like actors. It's like, oh, just act and make a movie and do your job. Like, don't have an opinion. Don't be a human being.
Don't use your platform for what you believe in. And it's like, that's what I feel like you have an obligation to do, actually. Like when you have such a big platform, stand up for what you believe in and use it for positive change.
Oh, totally.
On the other hand, I somewhat dislike celebrities who don't stand for anything. You know, it's like, really? What? That's self-centered?
And then here's the thing. I truly believe like there's no way for you to be a very incredible and respected artist without having some sort of opinion or outlook on the world. Like that's where art comes from. It comes from your experiences and your outlook. So I think it's pretty much impossible to be an artist and not see the world in a certain way and have opinions.
100%.
But anyways, moving on from that, when it comes to saying the negative, who cares? Is it bad? I'm asking you now. I'm asking you now.
I absolutely do. I think it's definitely a bit of gaslighting, honestly. It's like invalidating a queer person's feelings of uncertainty and fear of coming out. And clearly there is still so many reasons for us to feel like we need to come out. Being queer is abnormal and it's like outside of society's norms, and therefore we have to come out. It invalidates your entire experience growing up of all that confusion, all of like potential bullying, like all of these things that you experienced, you know, and especially as like professional athletes when they're the only openly queer person in an entire league, and then you're saying like shut up and just like dribble the ball. It's like, that is so rude. It's horrible. I really think it's horrible.
I completely agree with that. And I think that a really key thing to understand for anybody that isn't queer is that it's such a big fundamental inner struggle that you deal with, whether it be for months or years or some people decades. That struggle that you're dealing with every single day about your identity, like it's a real struggle. And to say like nobody cares is like invalidating the fact that you're just like going through a human experience, you know, and like having an inner struggle to find out more about who you are and who you want to be.
And it's something that you struggle with every single day, honest to God.
Oh, 100%.
Unless everyone in your life is accepting, which is so rare.
Which is like, the thing is that it would have to be literally everybody, not just like people in your inner circle. It would have to be like anybody that you just happen to surround yourself with, even on accident, even on like the subway car, like getting you home. Like if somebody that you don't know is shouting homophobic slurs at you, you're affected by it. Even if you have a fully accepting like family and group of friends and all these different things.
I will say though, it is so common that not your entire family is accepting that I think I've only met 2 people who had a completely perfect, easy coming out, like close family and friends coming out.
That's a good
you know
point
what I
to
mean?
Make as well.
And we clearly surround ourselves with a lot of queer people. We run Queer Collective. We're constantly meeting new queer people, and I've only met 2 people who have had positive experiences. You can have like a positive experience with some people and then a negative experience with another, and have that be something that is like so dominant in your mind all the time, you know, that it's something that constantly sits with you.
So that is, like you mentioned, invalidating an experience such as the struggle that a lot of people, majority of queer people go through when they come out to their family, which is huge, right? Like your family is your entire world for so long, such a huge part of your life, that to have that rumble and shake is a really big deal. So it is a big deal to come out. Another point that I want to bring up is more of an analogy. So to me, the closest thing that I can think of that's kind of a similar experience, though not the same, would be when you find, for example, your life's passion, like your career goals, your goals for like the future that you want to create for yourself and like the impact that you want to have on the world. When you find your passion, that is like, do you get so happy that you keep it to yourself? Like, no, typically you become so kind of, in a sense, awakened by this like revelation of your life that you've had, where you realize literally what you want to do with your life as a human being on this earth for the rest of your life. Like that's huge. And usually you want to share that with people. Like say that you announce it either in person or you send a tweet and you're like, this is my life's passion. I'm going to work on this project, this, and that. How many people would sit there on Twitter being like, your life's passion sucks. Nobody cares.
Who cares? Go back to accounting.
Go back to accounting, Bob.
It's just rude. Okay, Karen? It's rude.
You wouldn't find many people saying, who cares that you found your life's passion. But if you did find people that said that, very likely those would be the people that are very insecure about themselves and haven't found their life's passion and just want to blame everybody else. Not saying that finding your life's passion is the same as realizing that you're queer, but
no, it's not a perfect analogy, but
it's not a perfect analogy, but the way that they are the same is that they are a fundamental piece of your identity. Though it is a piece, not the whole thing, it's an important piece of your identity.
And you also go, typically for some people, unless you know exactly what your purpose is from when you're young, you go through a very confused stage, especially in adolescence, where people are telling you, okay, you need to decide exactly what you want to do right now, apply for jobs, apply for college, whatever. And like, you kind of go through a stage of panic then until you figure it out. And that might take you years. That's a kind of similar experience to being queer, where you take your time of sorting it out and wandering through life and being very confused.
Yeah, totally. And going back to what you were saying about sports, I read somewhere, I can't remember exactly where, there was like this headline where this soccer player announces that he's gay. And you have the comments of people being like, who cares? Just play soccer. You had a lot of those comments, and they were like, why is he announcing his sexuality publicly? Like, you're a soccer player, just stick to what you're good at. And then below that, you see the statistic, which is that he's the single openly gay male soccer player in all of the soccers. But the point is that there's thousands of soccer players, and like if we were to take up statistics, it's literally impossible for all of them to be straight and one person be gay. So that's a huge deal, because there's very likely, though not necessarily a fact, very likely the case is that there's a bunch of closeted players.
Oh, 100%. And can I tell you why, honestly, I think it is important, why I do think people should care? It's particularly for people who are in the spotlight and for people who are in sports.
Why?
Can I tell you?
Please tell me. I'm here for it.
Well, like specifically with sports, it's seen to be as like a manly thing for like football, for hockey, etc. And these are very unwelcoming spaces for gay people. If you're gay, then you're typically bullied in these spaces.
Right.
And that's why we see it in sports teams, it's such few numbers of openly gay players when you know statistically there's more queer people there. But having these people come out creates role models for young people to see that they're welcome in sports. Some organizations, the CFL does this, where they have a LGBTQ programming to like welcome queer kids into their spaces. You know what I mean? Like, it is something that needs active programming to welcome people in, because it shouldn't be the case that only one person is openly queer. Like, there needs to be more role models there. And that's why I think it is really brave for that person to have come out, and it's really important that they came out. And I think it's going to have a really big impact on people.
I hope that it does. And I hope that it encourages for more players to come out and just like be who they are and not have to hide it, and still be considered the soccer players that they are, like, and not have anything change, and just like normalize it so that people aren't like playing out their dream but also living in fear.
100%.
You know, now that we've kind of talked about why we think it's important for people that are in the limelight to come out, for as an example, and why it's important to give them the support as well. Why is coming out important to you specifically?
Like, as an individual?
As an individual, and I want you to just like draw from your personal experience that you had coming out as well.
That's a good question, and it kind of like takes you to a bit of a deeper level.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Down another level?
Welcome to NPR Smooth Jazz Coming Out Party.
NPR, huh? Not sponsored, not affiliated, not... No copyright, trademarks, thank you.
For me, honestly, the time that I spent in the closet, while I may have been like single and didn't have a reason to be talking to my parents, I guess, about being gay, it felt like every time I went home, I was lying to them. And that's because I just was choosing not to share details with them that normally I would have shared. Like, if I had gone on a date with a guy, I probably would have told my mom about it, you know?
Right.
And I was like sort of lying about like where I was, and I don't know, it just felt weird, and it felt like I was leaving a piece of myself out the door and I wasn't showing up to places as my whole self.
Yeah.
And that is something that really slowly chips away at you.
Yeah.
And I unraveled that in therapy a lot. Like it was something that was draining me, honestly.
Yeah.
Every day you feel it and it's at the back of your head. You're like, I need to tell this person, I need to come out. But then it grows bigger and bigger. It's like a snowball. The longer that you don't come out, the longer that it weighs on you and the bigger it gets. So that's why it's important, honestly. It's important so that you can show up as your whole self.
I agree with that. I agree with that completely. And just drawing from my experience and kind of going back to the whole like passion discovery, like being kind of similar to discovering that you're queer and discovering part of your identity, is that imagine living your whole life with your parents and you grow old and you're an adult and you're living out your passion and you never tell your parents that you're living out your passion.
Yeah. Like what you're doing for work.
That to me also feels like lying.
Yeah.
Right? You're not showing up as your whole self. If they ask you how was work, what are you supposed to say? Right? Like, oh, it was good. Worked 9 to 5, clocked out. Like, or do you say like, oh, this was amazing. I got to do this and this and that. And this is how I feel about it. And this is why it excites me so much. It's just part of just being authentically you. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people that aren't in that position, obviously, they don't get it because they don't have to lie. And as somebody who is a queer person, a lot of the times you feel like you're lying.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
almost
if you show up to a family gathering or wherever, and even something as simple as you're wearing specific items because you think that's what they want you to wear and you're not wearing what you want to wear. Even something as simple as that can be very, like, it really chips away at you because it's the way that you dress is an outward expression of how you feel inside and an outward expression of your identity. So if you feel like having nail polish and like lip gloss and you're a sassy boy and you want to wear a crop top, but you feel like you can't do that, like that's huge, I think. You know, you feel like you're lying. You feel like you're not showing up as you. You feel like you're showing up as who you think they want you to be.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, when I go home, it's a bit easier now because my dad has a really cute puppy that cheers me up. But when I would go home and I'd be in like my childhood bedroom, it often, like, just being around that setting would take me back to how I felt in high school, how lost I felt in those emotions. And it's like, ugh, I don't know.
And it's like the more honest that you are with other people, the more honest that you are with yourself as well, right? To keep it a secret and just stick to, quote, what you're good at or what you used to is so detrimental to just people's health in general. It really condones this behavior of just show up as who
we want you to be. We like you as an athlete. We like what you can do on the field for the team that I'm rooting for, but I don't want to know anything else about you. I don't care about anything else about you. I don't want to see you grow. I don't want to see you do well. That's what that means. Like, I only like you for this one thing.
It's treating that person, that human being, as an object that is used just for the sole purpose of your entertainment.
100%. And we also see this a lot in racial situations as well. In the NFL with Colin Kaepernick bending a knee.
Right, yeah.
And people would tell him the exact same thing, like, shut up, just do your job. Like, we don't care about your idea of politics. But this is something that impacts his life every single day and the people around him, you know? It matters to him. And that's what I mean by people are inherently political. Just by the color of your skin, your life is politicized. It has to be politicized. And your sexual orientation inherently politicizes you. Like, these things make you a political being because you need to impact change in that in order to survive.
Yeah, absolutely. Putting down the idea of don't come out, we don't care about that, it really just dehumanizes that person and invalidates their very human experience, invalidates their identity. It would make me feel like crap.
Totally.
So my advice would be just to, like, not make people feel like crap. And you know how you can do that. Now we get into the last part, which is the final question that I want to ask you is, what can we do? What can we say to support somebody who is coming out?
I think the first thing is validate them in their identity. And what you're doing by saying who cares is the exact opposite of that. So saying that I see you, I'm going to use your correct pronouns. I am excited to meet your partner, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you came out to me. Also, just being someone that will listen for them, asking them questions, asking them about how they feel. And then also, this is something that really helped me was my sister's support. So her really being there for me in the sense of offering support with me coming out to my family. That was something that made a massive difference in my life. So that's something that I would definitely really recommend to allies is being a support person in whatever way that person needs. And you can figure that out just by asking them.
Yeah. Going back to your passion, if somebody came to me, a good friend of mine came to me, said, this is what I've discovered my passion is. This is like everything that I want to do with my life.
Yeah.
I'd be like, that's amazing. I'm so happy that you found that. Let me know if I can do anything to help. Like, I want to support you. I want you to achieve that.
Yes.
You know?
On that note, man, one thing that I love is saying congratulations. Like, it is similar to that, where if someone told me that they found their passion, I would be like, congratulations, you know? Like, and that's what
you solved this freaking riddle that's hard to solve.
Yeah.
It's so hard to solve.
And that's actually what one of my grandmas did for me that made me feel so good, and it's a memory that I'll never forget, is my sister had helped me come out to her, and then like my Nana, she brought out a bottle of champagne and said congratulations, and that was something that made me feel
cute.
Really good.
Yeah.
And fucking that's what you should say to people who come out. Congratulations.
Bring out the bubbly and pop the champagne and say congratulations.
I love you.
I love that. That's super cute. And I think that's the perfect place to end it. So now that we have drawn all of our conclusions, please do let us know in the comments down below what your opinions are regarding all this. Do you agree that saying who cares is a bad thing? Yes? No? Why? We definitely want to hear your thoughts, so please let us know in the comments down below. Also, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure also to hit that notification bell because we put these videos out every single week and you don't want to miss them.
That's right.
With all that being said, you guys, we will see you in the next pod.
Peace. Bye.